Hi, welcome to the Ego Drop. And I'm Nicole, and over the other side we have.
Steph and the little kitten Midnight for those of you watching on YouTube. Hello.
Hi, she's so cutie. Anyway, so this week we're just gonna have a little chat. We won't be very long. We're going to be looking at the episode that involved Carrie and Martin of the Frog Project. I can never get my teeth in one, but there we are. It's a Frog Project. And we're just going to have a little breakdown as to, how it was for us, how we felt about it, and what we learned, if we learned anything. But before we do so, Steph, how are you this week?
I am tired. I've had a really busy week and we're not that far into it already. I worked all of the weekend, and yeah, it just feels a little bit like I'm on a treadmill at the moment. So when I reflect on ego, it kind of takes me back to what Carrie was talking about, and I appreciate we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail in a few moments. But when she was speaking about the circle of duty and putting yourself at the center before you can do your work and be there for your family and be there for your community, I kind of feel I've lost sight of that. And I have done that typical thing that I do every few weeks of taking on a bit too much.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm a little bit exhausted this week. And so I'm going to go back to that circle and try and look after myself.
We can stay on it and talk about it more if you wish, and then we can go back talking about how was my ego and so on. Let's stick with it. Go on.
Yeah.
You don't have
Okay.
to follow any format. Go on. So what is it that you think that has contributed to? Is it because of
It's predominantly work, because I have a lot of different roles. I wear a lot of different hats, and so I think everything every now and again it's a bit of a wave. So sometimes some roles are not that busy, and I can put more energy into other things. And then every now and again, everything clashes all at once, and you have a week where you've got to do a little bit for everything, and those weeks are quite intense.
wow?
And then on top of that, yeah, there's been a lot going on, sort of home and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's just a little bit too much this week, I think. So I
See?
think going back to sort of looking after yourself and thinking about what you need and focusing on things like your sleep, which is a bit lacking this week, as you can tell by the bags under my eyes. So yeah, sleep and nutrition and social time, which is non-existent at the minute,
Yeah.
and all that other sort of time. And I think I alluded to on the introduction to our last one, sort of having time to go and exercise.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just being mauled by my kitten as we talk. Yeah, and yeah, just sort of really making time for yourself so that you can then be there for your family
Yeah.
and your friends,
Mm,
and then you can do your work.
yeah.
Then finally you can be there for community as well.
I think that was one of the major things, to be honest with you, for me that I took away from the whole episode, that part of it, the interview with them, and I really liked it. But the thing is, one of the things I reflected on is so often we are trained to be selfless, you know, and selflessness comes at that price of overcompensating, of neglecting
Yeah.
self. I'm just putting everything, I mean, and then the funny thing, and then interestingly, from my standpoint, is and we discussed it as well, didn't we? We put so much of ourselves into everything else but ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we give of ourselves so much of work. I'm guilty of that one. We give, work, and we just work and we work. We just go crazy, crazy for work. I do that. And then when it comes to the self-care and the self, love and the nurturing, it's almost like that is so it's important, but I can't
Yeah.
wait. And that's one of the things that I continue to excuse me to work on is trying to ensure that duty, that circle of duty, that looking at it and saying, you're that little pin in the middle,
Mm.
and then just start with that positivity. But boy,
If you don't look after it, that bit in the middle yourself, then you end up doing everything else not very well.
yeah,
Your work isn't particularly good because you're too tired, or you haven't got the enthusiasm for it, or you don't make time for your family because you're too tired and so on and so forth. But
Got nothing left in the tank by the time you're finished with out there. You've served the community. We've gone to work and we've, in my case, work, work, work. I mean, I won't tell you what time I went to bed this morning. Work, work, work. And then somehow when you return, whether it's to home, return to your partner, return to your kids, you've got nothing left and you just zonked, you're just gone.
Definitely. And another thing you've said, which I think is where some balance has to come in, because you just said that, we're taught to be selfless. And that is part of yoga philosophy as well, that selfless service is a part of karma yoga. But what it says is that you give without the need for results or reward, which is ego aspect there, isn't it? So you're doing stuff without wanting the reward. So you're encouraged to give selflessly and serve selflessly, to try and release your mind from anguish and anxiety and live a sort of life of enlightenment. And also it said to sort of decrease chronic pain, blood pressure, and all that sort of stuff. But again, that has to be balanced with still putting yourself at the center. Otherwise, you can't serve. You don't have the energy.
No, I totally get that, because I think it's so easy, because even when you think about it, giving selflessly, and because it's a principle that I believe in as well. You don't give to receive. Even look for something in return. But then when you look at the flip side of that, there's some that's always ready to just take. And you've got to be mindful of, and are they taking all of me in that process? So those are the kind of things are.
And where does the line, where is that sort of blurred line end between you wanting some sort of gratitude or reward and therefore having your ego get in the way, or recognizing that somebody's taking advantage because they're not, I don't know, not being grateful, or there's a very blurred line.
All of that kind of, well, it's I guess it's how far we go that side of being a good person. And I'm not trying to be, flippant when I say in that way. And, for those who can't see what I've just done, the air quotes, but I just think, we are, because, and lots of times it's guilt. We're guilt tripped into being a particular way as well. When you think about lots of people from a spiritual or a religious standpoint as well, lots of times we're forced, or we force ourselves, or some of it is the teaching, the brainwashing, of you must be a good person. So make sure that you, and I know I'm doing ridiculous voice when I say that. I don't know why. I do that. I break into this caricature of, I don't know what it is. Thank goodness you're listening and not watching. But we feel the need to be a good person, so we'll give all of ourselves, overcompensating. But those are some of the things, the teachings within it that I really need to, I'm trying to implement in my own life, talking about self. And I mean, I've always been a believer in, it's okay. Some people I know will guilt trip me. Oh, you're so selfish. You're so selfish. You're all for yourself and you don't think about anybody else. It's okay to be selfish, Do you believe that, Steph?
I think, I don't know. I think it's okay to put your needs first in the way of the circle of duty, as we've just described. So if that's being selfish, then yes.
Yeah. So in that respect, but not selfish in terms of, you can help, or you can give, or you can do for someone, and you're just being little Scrooge. That's not coming from when I say selfish. I'm talking about not giving away. I hear people say, oh, they'll give their last. Are you crazy? So if I give you all the last drop of tea in my cup, what do I drink?
Well, yeah, I think Carrie described this well, that if you can't pour from an empty cup. You've got to fill your cup before you can help anyone else. So that's a good analogy.
but the thing is, I know of people who would do that. They'll have absolutely jack diddly squat, but they'll ha well, not happily, they'll give it away. And they'll
Mm.
sit and look and say, oh, I've got. Are you thinking, well, what did you do? Oh, I gave it to someone so. A famous one that I grew up hearing is, oh, God will provide. Because you're going to be waiting for God to provide. You're going to sit and wait for God to send someone to come and give you what you've just given away. That's like,
Mm.
I just think, if you take care of yourself, you have enough, you stand on solid ground. And those are the things that it was, in all honesty, the philosophies, the teachings, and so on that they were sharing with me. I mean, it was with us, it's quite a lot. I had to listen to it a couple of times, I listened to it again, just to remind myself, of what I was
Yeah,
to really,
fascinating.
yeah, and it was so much more. I could have gone into so many
Well,
more.
we did go on, didn't we? That's why we had to make 2 episodes of it. That's not happened before.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you think about these kind of it's like, these topics, it's so much. It's got so many layers.
Yeah.
There is so many questions. There's so many questions I wanted to continue asking, but I was conscious of time. I was conscious of whether or not we'll be losing those who might be listening as to, how to keep it interesting.
Mm.
And so there's just so much to learn, you know what I mean?
It
From
is. It is.
even though some of what they were talking about is what we practice in our daily lives, but we just sometimes we forget them.
Yeah, you lose sight, don't you, sometimes? So.
Mhm. Yeah, so all in
How
all, for
about
me,
you then?
all in all, it was a good one for me. All in
Good.
all, it was really good. And it kind of brought me back to some, not use the word things isn't the right word, but the philosophies, the beliefs that I hold, lots of it, it kind of brought it back to me and reminded me. I was like, I believe that as well. So it was really, really good from my
Good.
point.
So how about you then? So we've talked about how egos affected me, and obviously I've had philosophy in mind. How about you? How's your ego been affected in the last week, if at all?
Damn, it's got a nasty headache, so I'm struggling to think beyond my headache. I got this really horrible from
Oh,
the back to the front headache.
well, how if you can't think of anything right now, how
Yeah.
about have you been putting any of the philosophy into practice? How about if we look at it that
I'm struggling. I'll be honest.
way? So no, you haven't been
I'm
looking
I'm
after
struggling
yourself.
because I remember one of the things that I walked away and I thought to myself, I'm going to try to get serious again about um sleeping, resting, as part of my self-care. I'm going to try to get, serious about, getting back into my yoga. I've been
Yeah.
trying to meditate and I'm still on that wobble, I do meditate, but not the way that I want to, that I used to, like really serious. My light, my candle, dark room, and that's kind of what I tend to do. But now I just kind of sit in this same space I'm in, and not necessarily getting especially I have cats as well,
Mm.
more than one. They're just buzzing around constantly. But I shouldn't be making excuses, and I'm trying to. I've been jotting down, trying to get myself into, if you like, preparation mode, my steps. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's something that I'm trying to work on because it helps me
Yeah.
to be grounded. It helps me to so I want to start back with meditation and then move back into yoga practices because I remember the benefits of it back in the day when I used to do it on a regular basis, initially at the gym and then at home. And I really want to try and get back into that because the it makes it just makes such a difference in terms of
Um,
you feel, and I don't get so easily annoyed.
And there's different types of meditation if you're struggling with the whole clear your mind, dark room thing. So you can go for a walk and just focus on a noise
Mindfulness, yeah.
and let everything else go. Or if your cats are roaming around,
Yeah.
just sort of close your eyes and just listen to them and
Yeah.
just forget,
Yeah.
the troubles and the anxieties that you have. So there are different ways if you can't do the sort of strict empty your mind, light a candle
Yeah.
thing. And then slowly, if you're giving yourself the time and getting into that habit, slowly
Mm.
you can start to replace that with the more
Yeah.
intense version of meditation.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do when I do walk on my own, especially when I walk the dog, I do tend to, apart from keeping an eye on her and stuff like that, I do tend to walk, I say mindful walking because
Mm.
I don't listen to music and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I tend to just walk. I wear headphones, strangely, and I do it so that I can hear my feet.
Ah, there you go. So you
If,
are
if,
being
if you wear
mindful.
headphones without any music on, you can hear just your feet against the, whether it's the pavement, the gravel, whatever it might be. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing that I do. Maybe I don't know if others do it
Mhm.
as enjoy it. But in terms of meditation at home, I just need to try and get myself back into that routine because I really enjoyed it.
Good.
And it's not about emptying your mind because
No.
when I used to go to the Buddhist center, it wasn't about emptying your mind. It was about just sitting, being still, and being mindful
Mm.
now, you know?
Definitely. And I mean, as you know, we run a friend and I run a online yoga studio for neurodiversity. And one of the key things in that is most people with, let's say, ADHD can't empty their mind.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's not to say they can't still practice
yeah.
yoga meditation. So you're absolutely right. It's not about emptying
Empty,
your mind.
maybe.
But I think a lot of the commercial classes you go
Yeah,
to, or a lot of the commercial videos you see,
yeah,
are all about letting go of your thoughts, let them drift away. But that's not always
yeah,
that easy.
yeah. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with it all. But it for me was a really wonderful session. Yes, my ego is just nice and you know balanced. There's
Good.
nothing dramatic or anything at all.
Oh,
It's
it's
just
a good weekend. Like it.
yeah.
So,
So
what
that
else did you find interesting in the recording with Carrie and Martin? I just find them so interesting, and I thought with Carrie especially because she was one of my yoga teachers back in the day. Um, it kind of reignited why I absolutely adored my teacher training and why it almost felt kind of cultish.
yeah,
You just
yeah,
wanted to hear more and more and follow these people and all their practices. And I ended up doing some Ayurveda training and some yoga for mental health training and all sorts of things afterwards, just because it is just fascinating, and a lot of it is common sense and a lot of it aligns to sort of good morals and
yeah,
healthy lifestyle, but it's told in such a gentle, because the
yeah,
whole thing is non-violent way,
yeah.
so yeah, so I absolutely loved it. But what about you? What else did you take from it?
Um, I think one of the more if you want to call it the global thing as opposed to the teaching itself. I'm looking across because I had jotted down some things as I was listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but one of the things that I took away from it is the um how the reason why they started out and then somehow COVID pushed them to make their way online with this.
Yes.
And they just but in particular, Carrie, she was a school teacher, and then she's like, I'm out of here, at whatever stage of her career, at that point when she decided that, she's done enough yoga practices and so on and so forth. She's learned what she's learned and she's set up and they're just slowly building a community, and they weren't stressed about, it seems, oh, let's go, let's make it this way, let's make it that way. They just made it plain simple for whomever wants to turn up as they are.
Yeah, and it was that real yoga for homeowners you don't have to be this lithe, flexible, young 20 something.
Turn up as you are.
You just turn up as you are with your pinny around your waist if
Yeah.
need be, do some
Yeah.
breathing and some stretching.
Yeah.
And
And I liked that about um her, them, and I say her because mainly she's in charge of leading. I know she said she's got, is it 7 teachers now or something like that? But in essence, I think she's the lead on that, and Martin is the guy in the background helping to steer the ship kind of thing. But I liked just them in terms of how they got going, and the inner workings and decisions that they've taken. Because one of the things for me is the struggle that I continue to have is, I know the life that I want, but the truth, and if I'm being totally honest with myself, I don't think I'm really ready to give up where I'm at for the life that I really want. Because the thing is, I keep saying it to myself more so than out loud to others. Lots of times because I don't want necessarily fancy being laughed at, because probably you don't take me serious. It's not that I care how you feel or think about my thoughts and decisions, but I do to some extent, because if I'm saying out loud, oh, I want a simple life, but yet I'm still working until stupid time in the morning, early hours of the morning. I'm still, you know, taking work, so much work, so much work, so much work, on where in what I'm doing is a simple life. I'm wanting to, try and work because I can buy, invest in this and invest in that. Well, what bit of that is a simple life? You see what I'm saying to you? But the simple things that I enjoy about life, my friends, my loved ones, I enjoy gardening. As you know, I just love, especially when it's nice, and if it's dry, I'm not even bothered if it's that cold. But if it's dry, I just love going outside and getting my gloves on, or even sometimes just behind, just working outside manually. So I love a simple life, but at the same time, I do like some of the nice things, like a nice-ish vehicle that can get me from, I don't know, England to Scotland in one journey without, worrying it's going to break down. So I want to go and live in the countryside because I want to plant things, because I really enjoy that kind of life, And one of my friends keeps saying, let's all put our monies together and buy a plot of land and we build our own little houses or whatever on it, and da 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 da. Sounds great.
but are you ready to give up your city life?
Well, the thing is, I don't necessarily want the city life, Steph. You know what I really want? I'm lazy. I'm lazy. Lazy in the sense that I work quite late, and I don't know. I'm trying to break myself out of the habit, and I struggle. I work late, sometimes 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I mean, this morning I went to bed at 3. Well, after 3.
Ridiculous.
Not good. And then I was back up early because I was in court. And but I don't do that every day of the week. You know what I mean? Like 3 o'clock. I mean, it might be midnight, 1 o'clock, 1:30 or something like that. But I I'll get up in time to go walk the dog, do all of this before having to get to court for X time in the morning, and depending where I'm going, if I'm in Birmingham, it's okay. It's not too bad. If I'm in Wolverhampton, it's another 40 minutes on my journey. If I choose to live over where you live, that's like I want a bit, it's 1 hour.
Mm,
So all
mm.
those, so I don't necessarily want to live in the city. I want to.
On a short commute and an easy life. I get it.
You understand? So although I'm
Well,
saying I'm lazy,
that's why I've worked from home for 7 or so years, because
girl,
the commute is hard, and I think everything gets harder as you get a bit older and
yeah, yeah,
you and yeah. So if I couldn't do the commute regularly, I do it a couple of times a month, but it is hard. It is
yeah,
tiring. It adds another couple of hours on your day.
yeah,
So it's not insignificant, but yeah, I totally agree with you. I think you get to an age where when you're used to your ego and you recognize your ego for what it is, all of the things that were important to you as a youth,
yeah,
going out looking great, seeing your friends, having this lifestyle, wearing the best clothes
yeah,
or this fashion or whatever,
yeah,
that all suddenly seems so irrelevant. And having just those home comforts, and like you say, the garden, somewhere nice to sit outside, somewhere nice
Yeah.
to walk the dogs,
Yeah.
nice little school for my daughter, having nice food in the fridge so I can cook. I love
Exactly.
where you were in the garden, I'm cooking. So at the weekend, I did some little bits of cooking, little batch cooking and stuff. And yeah, that's my simple life. Just
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I would love my perfect life would be exactly that. I'm just, I go to work and then I'm home, I'm working, I do some workouts and you know what I mean? But it's just the battle. My worry is getting to work, the traffic. So and that's one of the reasons why I'm still, at the location that I'm in. But yeah, so I do want a simple life. I just need to figure out how to achieve it. My ego says stay here,
and a
meaning,
simple life, I think, is also hard in this day and age, post COVID, post Brexit, post crisis in terms of financial crisis and everything, cost of living, that's the word I'm looking for, cost
yeah,
of living.
yeah,
Because you can't just say, as I would love to, oh, I'm going to be a yoga teacher, because that
yeah,
isn't going to pay the mortgage, frankly. So you are forced to look outside
yeah.
that for life, really.
Stay on that hamster wheel and keep
Yeah.
going. It's crazy, but
Keep that lottery syndicate going.
girl, girl, we we we
We
we will
try
we
every week.
will we will we will get there. You just watch too many people in that group to for us to not make it.
Keep the faith.
But that's that for me really. It's I keep going and I keep believing and I keep, trying, but I know that I'll achieve that in the not too distant future. Yeah.
I look forward to being your neighbour.
Yeah. Well, my other half says, I love over where Steph lives. I want to live over there. I said, yeah, fine, let's do it.
Yeah.
But we have one little fly in the ointment, which I'll share with you off here, not on
Oh,
here. You know, so
true.
so yeah, we can go live over there. That's fine by me. You need to sort that out, and then we can go there. But I'm looking forward to change. I'm just trying to work on it, baby steps. Baby steps, and I know I'll get there.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we are. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Steph, today?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But no,
Oh,
absolutely, absolutely love that episode. I thought it
I
was fab.
do. I do. I really do. I can't wait to dig into the other part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way to dig in. And then hopefully we can learn about something again.
Mm.
Anyway, in the meantime, take care and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We kindly ask that you continue to like, share, comment, and send in your opinions, send in your thoughts with to us. Eagle Drop on all socials, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, everywhere. We're there. And don't forget, please write a review if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, Castbox, any of them. Just please drop us something so we can, get somewhere in the algorithm. We're still young. We're still trying to find our way. All right. Catch you soon. Take care.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.